Howdy y'all, Nimby here. Today we're going to be tying up some Ginties, which is basically a big old bumblebee. It's an older pattern. It's an attractor pattern. Oops, just pulled my thread right out of the poppet. Hey, give me a second here, let me get this sorted back. Actually, you know what? I might switch over to... we'll stick with 8/0 now. I was going to switch over to 6/0, but we'll stick with the 8/0 for now. Morning! Sorry, I just pulled my thread out of my bobbin here, so just getting that sorted. Good to see you, Oz. Apologize, I was all organized until I pulled this out. What are you gonna do? Thank you. I don't know why I'm fighting with this so much. Just give me a second. I do have bobbin threaders, and sometimes I wish I kept them at my desk. I actually keep them in a box away from my desk, which is kind of dumb. Because I rarely use them, but there's the odd time, like today, that I keep dropping my thread. It's not like they take up too much room, but they get bent easy. Woohoo. Hi. Back in business, I think. There we go. Good to have you guys in. Let's see who we got here. Sorry, hard to read your name, mate. Looks like Melvin. We'll just call you Mel. We got Peter. Green River, good to see you in, man. Sorry for the slow start there, guys. Just getting this wrapped up. I accidentally pulled my thread out of my bobbin. So we're just going to start with a simple thread base all the way down. Just a little bit in from the 1/3 mark up by the eye. And we're going to go down to the... just above the barb. A couple wraps there. You need to let your thread hang down so you can see it's right by the barb, so we know we got it right on the money. This is going to have a double tail, so we're going to be doing a tail in red and then... not a lot, mate. Good to have you in, Landon. Doing some McKinley flies today, so basically big old bumblebees. They're a fun little tie. So we're just going to use, this is a little shock of red rooster. Same with this one. These are body feathers though. They make really good tailing material. They're actually white traditionally. Names aren't blue. Yours look blue to me, man. Do you not have your mod tag, you mean? One sec. Let me refresh this just to make sure. Yeah, you look good to me, Landon. If you have any problems, let me know, though. I can unmod you and remod you if it's an issue. Don't really have a lot left on this feather. Actually, I'm just going to grab another one. That one's a little short. I could probably make that work, but we're just going to get a new one here. So we want to get rid of all the fluffy stuff on the bottom. This isn't fished as a wet fly, but we do want to have a bit of a stiff tail to it. Really? They're blue on my screen. Is that just for mobile, maybe? Did they change that? When did they do that? Is that a new change? That must have totally blew by me. It must not be on. Okay. Sorry, man. I mean, from what I'm seeing, you guys are all blue with the shields like normal. So I don't know, maybe it's not a Canadian thing? It looks like it normally does to me. So we're going to get this in at the shank length. Transfer that back. We want to have it right on top of the shank, so first wrap's going to be a soft wrap. Just 3 wraps will do. Ooh, that's a messy one. Why are you so messy? See if I can get that clean up a little bit. A little bit of floof is okay, but you're floofing a lot there, mate. Good to see you, P&W. Yeah, I mean, that's a little... Let's try to wet it down a little bit. I'm not sure why that's so floofy. That's a little better. We'll go with that. And then we're going to tie in some teal. Teal can be a little bit hard to come by in fly shops. Let's call them a Ginty. So basically it's an attractor version of a bumblebee. So we're into our attractor wet flies right now. So I just finished doing the Royal Coachman, which I still need to do one of. So sometime today during this session we're going to do one more Royal Coachman. Because I gave away like half of the ones I tied, so I need to tie a few more. It's all good though. Okay, just kind of neatening that up. I do have one little piece sticking down there. I should probably nip that off. Come on now. Okay, that's probably going to get buried in, because the next thing we're going to do is tie in some teal. Like I was saying, if you don't have teal, you can definitely use mallard, because it's pretty much the same thing. Teal's another type of waterfowl. It has a much lighter, lighter is probably not the right word, creamier feather. And they're a lot more even tipped. And their speckling is a lot more even. Like the speckles are much smaller and throughout the whole feather. So, but they're very, very close to... oh, did I miss something? Hey, Trudge did the thing. Thanks. Thanks, Rob. Appreciate it for the dono, man. Classic low on funds. Feeling broke. All good, man. Like I said, I know you work hard for every bone you make, and anything you pass my way, I fully appreciate it. Really do. Like, honestly, man. Okay, so Trudge has initiated a giveaway, but we'll wait until we get the fly done, because I don't have any flies done yet to do the giveaway with. I am going to have to, unfortunately, with the whole new tariff junk, change up some of the gifties, because some of them I can't send across with the new tariff things without paying a stupid amount of tariffs. So, if it lands on something and I nix it, you'll have to give me a break for a bit until I can get that sorted and get the... I'm gonna let a week or so go by until this stuff settles down. But I can send gifties through, they just don't have all the... we have to use an online app in order to send stuff down, and they don't have it updated yet, and that probably won't happen for a few days. So I'm still going to do giveaway. We're just going to stick to some simpler stuff that I'm pretty sure isn't involved in the tariff stuff. Not that we need to really get into that at length. Okay, so we're going to get this off. You want to have a boat that's curling together, but about a gap high. Yeah, they really are. And I have gobs and gobs of teal just by accident. I bought a whole bunch from a fly shop that was shutting down. So I have lots. You might not. If you don't, that's fine. Mallard's really easy to come by. So any mallard flank. You can even use goose flank. Would be perfectly fine. But if you want this nice speckleting that the teal has and the mallard has, then Obviously want to use that. If you don't have either of those, you can definitely use some gross. It's a little on the darker side. No worries, man. And we're going to tie that in, same thing, just about a gap length, and right on top of that red. Yeah, if you know a hunter or you are a hunter, you can fill your box up with material like too sweet. Because most waterfowl, there's generally like almost everything on a waterfowl is going to be useful. Nah, that curled on me a bit. Let's back that up just a bit. Just going to hold it a little bit towards myself. If it curls again, that should put it square where I want it. Yeah, that's much better. No, it's not. Come on, buddy. Why you fight me so much? Okay, let's try this again. Yeah, that's the other thing. You can get a good chunk of CDC. Hey, thanks for subscribing. Appreciate it. We'll do the giveaway once I get this fly done, so we'll give this one away. And I'll wait for Rob to get back here from his foot pedal excursion. It looks so good when I first put it on top there. Let's just see if we can keep it there. The breast ones are pretty good too. There's a good bit of patterns you can use the breast, the little copper colored breast feathers. But the flanks are right, and then of course the quills, the wing, the flight feathers are primo on a duck. I'm probably being way too fussy with this one, but it's gonna be a giveaway fly, so I'm trying to make it pretty. Yeah, that's good. There, that's good. I like that. So you just want a little bit of teal sticking out on top of the red. That basically is what makes it the attractor fly, because obviously a bee doesn't have a red butt to it. Hey, Superfly! Hey, Spool, I'm not sure why it deleted your message. It's being a toot today. I apologize. Let me see if I can fix that for you. Huh. Okay, it won't let me. I don't know why. Sorry, man. It timed you out for 300 seconds and it's not letting me untime you out. I apologize. And all you said was Superfly. I'm not sure why. Yeah, I know. He literally just said Superfly. It's been really weird lately. I have to apologize for it. And it's not even giving me the option to untime you out. Okay, so we got that tied in. That's good. He'll be back. It's only 300 seconds. We're going to have some tea while we're waiting for him. I have no idea why it timed him out for that, and it's not timing anyone else out. Obviously, just doesn't like him. So I got this vintage stuff. I'm going to try and use some of this up. It is a little on the brittle side. It's quite old, probably older than I am. But it's local. It comes from Maple Ridge, BC. So we're going to be tying in some yellow, which is this stuff. We're going to be tying in some... Yeah, it's just been odd. It's been timing people out for like no reason whatsoever. And the translation stuff is just all out of whack, but I think that's more a YouTube thing than a Stream Elements thing. Yeah, I gotta prep all this stuff anyway. So we got some black. This is a black gray. I generally find that this like dark gray typically works better for these than like a shock black. Hey, Vintage. Good to have you in, man. So I'm gonna tie in the black first here because I want to get at least one wrap of black before I get the yellow in. So we're just gonna strip off a bit there. Sure, I didn't really show that part, but I stripped off a bit of the chenille just so the inner fibers show. And we're gonna tie that in. There's a stop tangling. There we go. There's a number of different ways you can tie your chenille, or you can wrap your chenille on this one. We're gonna go over. I'm gonna try and do all four of them. The way we did before was basically under wrapping on the underbody. So as you're wrapping around the one color, you're gonna bypass it underneath. And that way you'll get the nice bands on the top and the sides, which is where it's gonna show through anyway. The other way is you can actually braid this. And I'm gonna do that after because, like I said, this stuff, I might switch to a different chenille because this one is old and a little on the brittle side. I don't know how much tension I can put on it. I'm tying this just in front of the black there because I want to get at least one or two wraps of that black first, and this will push on it. Just, you'll get a much better contrast with having a black butt than a yellow butt. Being that there's two colors, obviously you have to choose which one goes first, so we're going to do black. But the black contrasts really nicely with the red tail. And then, so once we get those wraps up, then we're going to actually, for this one, we're going to twist these two together in a rope and then wrap it. And I'm going to see how that goes. And yeah, in the end, we'll just see which one we actually like better. So, this one here, I'm just going to lay in my bobbin cradle for now, so it's a little out of the way. I'm going to go underneath and around. Normally I go over and around, just so I'm not interrupting that tail. I want to get two wraps of black on here. Just touching turns. So that first wrap is a nice shock of black, like so. And it's going to go on the inside of the yellow. And then we're just going to twist these two together. I don't normally do it this way. I'm just going to see how it works on this pattern. Some patterns, like some older traditional nymphs and stuff, this is money. It just looks really nice. It gives you kind of more of a buggy, segmented look. Sorry. Good to have you back, Rob. Hopefully the sink's not exploded on you too bad. Yeah, so we're just going to twist this. I don't need a whole lot because we're not going to be doing that many turns. I probably got way more than enough, but it's good to have more than you need because it will start to unravel a bit as you're wrapping. So that'll work. So you can see we got a nice segmented wrap there right after the black. So as we wrap this around, this should hopefully line up with the colors that we're looking for. Actually, I'm going to do one back here. So I got that black right. Just going to see if I can over twist this just a hair. I'd like to have yellow right after that black. There we go. That'll work. Yeah, Jody's in. It does. I love vintage stuff, but older chenille just isn't. Yeah, I want to get out too, but same thing. I'm worried our water's gonna start getting cold pretty quick, because we're getting down to like 7 degrees. Yeah, it's a really classic, and it's an awesome pattern. Yeah, that's very true. I might have. Yeah. Okay, next time I do this one, then I'm gonna change that up so the butt is only one wrap instead of two. I was expecting more yellow to show up on that first wrap, but it is pretty black at the back, but that's okay. This part here turned out good. So next time just one black wrap and then we'll twist it up. Yeah, it's all part of life, right? Every season has its cycle and some stuff will disappear and other stuff will come back. The other nice thing about fall fishing, which I love, is just like early spring fishing. There's no bugs. Well, there's bugs, but no mosquitoes. And black flies and horse flies and stuff. There's a lot less. Ah, no. Ah, dude, I'm sorry. That's so bad. Aw. Well, you have to give your best to Miss Superfly for me as well. Spool, why does it keep doing that, man? Why is it? 1 second, Spool. I'm gonna see if I can get that fixed. Okay, set you as a moderator and... Oop. 1 second, man. Trying to fix you here. I don't know why it's being a toot. Yeah, I just did that. Okay. That's really weird. It's not giving me the option to remove the timeout. I'm not sure why it doesn't like that. Okay, sorry, just let me get my stuff back up here. There we go. Okay, so we got the body done. I'm not disappointed in the body, but I'm going to make a few changes next time. I'd like this mottled look to go all the way across. I do actually really like that look. But probably once I get the fly done. Then we'll do the rumble, we'll do the giveaway. Because I need the fly to give away. Yeah, no kidding. Me and the wife were upset about that last night. We both really liked Dolly Parton, and not only was she an absolute awesome person. Yeah, well, he's modded now, so hopefully once he's out of jail, we'll let him back in. I apologize, Spool. I am so sorry. I don't know why it's being a toot. Okay, so we're gonna tie in the hackle. For the hackle, we're just gonna be using this wonderful. Yeah, I know. Like, for me, it's all the work. It's the type of person she was and the work that she did for the community. We're gonna be using this wonderful red burnt furnace, and we're gonna tie in the furnace. We're mainly looking for the strands in that area, but it is just a wet fly. We're not gonna be floating this thing. And for the wings on this, we're going to be actually using specifically a very specific part of the mallard feather. Oh, it's all good. We were just waiting for Rob to get back, and he's back. I'm just going to finish this fly so I can get it into the rumble. Yeah, just so you guys know, I'm pretty sure everyone's aware because I mentioned this several times. I'm still going to do the giveaways and everything whether or not we get super chats. The super chat will just, allow it to happen sooner. That's all. It's just a fun thing for you guys. It's not required at all. So if you're down and you're low on your bones and you can't donate, just a simple, hey Nate, or hey Nimby, how's it going? Is perfectly fine, and we will still do the giveaways at the end of the stream. But as a little thank you for any donos, we're gonna do them a little sooner. Yeah, I'm just tying that in on the side like so. Oh, don't worry, we'll be there in a minute, mate. I just got to get the wings in this hackle, and then we'll do it. Only a couple minutes. My dog's being a toot and wants outside, so he's gonna come say hi to you guys, and then we're gonna pop him outside. Hey, come on, up. Say hi to everyone. Come here. There he is, on his nose anyway. Oh yeah, I'm gonna pop him outside. I'll be right back, guys. Yeah, that's rubble. How can you tell I got smaller kids, at least when he was little? Hey, no worries, Val. Good to have you in, man, even for a short time. It's good to see you. Thanks for dropping a like, man. I appreciate it. Hi, bye. He's always a busy dude. It's just nice outside. My dog wants to go hang out outside. He doesn't really have to go outside. He just wants to be outside, which is fine. Okay, for the we're gonna use the hackle pliers for the hackle. Yeah, or like tuna fish or something completely, utterly different like it's been doing. I'm gonna tie these in kind of similar to like the way I'd tie in a dry hackle, but then we're gonna pin it back before we put the wings on. We only really need like 2 to 3 wraps for the hackle on this. I might go for 3 here. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, well, yeah, we'll go for 1 more. I agree. I don't even know, like I said, I have like a tech background and coding background, and I don't even understand how it's, other than it being intercepted by some kind of AI thing, I don't understand why it's even doing what it's doing. Like it shouldn't even happen. Because I get a set of the chat text sent to Stream Elements in like, text format. And in the actual Stream Elements text chat, it's fine, but it'll say something completely different. So I don't know where it's coming from, because it's not coming from the actual text in the chat. The only thing I can think of is they must be using some kind of side AI thing to filter stuff, and it's hallucinating and putting stuff out, because it's not in the actual chat text that's being saved. It's just really weird altogether. But that would make sense if there's like collecting chat data and the AI is hallucinating and pumping it out different. Would not surprise me. Okay, so we got that going. Oh, I just realized I bumped my camera. Let me fix that for you. There we go, that'll work. Okay, so we don't need a whole lot of wraps to pin these back, but I'm just gonna gently tap these back and then pin them back a bit with a few wraps. And they're just gonna be kind of semi-loose wraps. We're gonna go about 4 or 5 back. And I'm mainly looking to create a flat spot to tie that quill wing in. There we go. That'll work. We just want them to be back a bit so that they're not vertical, and that'll work perfectly fine just like that. Okay, so for this part, Need to find where I put my wings. There's one. Where'd my other wing go? There it is. Hey, so if you guys aren't hunters, because these are actually kind of hard to come by in the fly shops, to be honest, in any sort of decent amount or quality, you can get these on Temu. You're going to get a pack of like 50 or 60 of them, and most of them are going to be ratched up, so about half of them aren't going to be terribly useful for you. You can still use them for other things like wing caps on nymphs and stuff like that, where the quality isn't going to matter. But the part specifically on this fly, and we've tied one already so you can see the part I cut out, is you want to have this white strip on the top. So this chunk here is really all we're going to be using for these flies. You can still use this bottom for many other flies, but specifically for this pattern, and I mean there's nothing stopping you from using these for your own, we're just trying to stick to the traditional pattern. Traditional pattern calls for this white strip on top. This is in the center section of a mallard duck. You can see that really nice, if I get the camera to show it, that nice iridescent blue on there, and it looks money like when the sunshine hits it. It's beautiful. Yeah, no, it's a glitch for sure, 100%, but it's like a weird glitch as well. So I'm going to be using, if I can find where I put it down. Come on out of there. I'm going to be using my calipers here, or not calipers, but compass. I'm going to get it to the gap height. Now, if you don't have a compass, you can use a hook, and I'll show you on the second one how you do that. And we're just going to be taking the compass, and we're going to be taking that section of wing out. You want it to be the gap height. And it looks quite small, but this is all you need right there. Again, this is a bumblebee, so we don't want to get a huge amount of wing going on there, so it's not like a green drake or a mayfly or what have you. That's all you want. And we are going to do a slit side, so that's going to be one side of the slit. And then we're going to get the other side in a second here. Yeah, but like I was saying, if you can't find these in the thrifts or in the fly shops, because you'll typically find them as a single pair, so you get one of each wing, so you get two. And a lot of times you'll pay like $7 or $8 just for those two feathers, and you're only going to get like 5 or 6 of these flies out of, because all you're using is just that tip. Yeah. Yeah, because there's no actual blue really in nature. Like, it's all a fake. They actually show up as artificial, but that's Temu. I'm not saying that's the best place you should get it from. It's just these are kind of hard to come by unless you know a hunter that's specifically going for mallard, because these are only come off mallards. But mallards are also used for food stock, so a lot of these come off of food stock, and they're really pretty feathers, so they're saved and used for, well, whatever you want to use them for. A lot of people use them for crafting and other stuff too. But you can get a whole bag of like 50 or 60 of these for like $3 or $4. So you just yeah, it's like a mess up on how your eye absorbs it. Just a few, mind you. Okay, so that's what we got. We got 2 like that. I'm just going to put them together. It's right in the middle of the wing, so it's in between the flight feathers and the main stabilization feathers. There's just a band of them, and there's only like, maybe 10 feathers per side for each bird. So out of one mallard, you can only get like a max of 10 feathers. But it's a beautiful feather, and we don't actually use them that much in fly tying, like, to be honest. A lot of older patterns use them because, again, they were a really common bird for people to hunt. There we are. So that's what we're looking for. So this is exactly what you want the wing to look like. And you can see why it was used for a fly like a bumblebee, because the bumblebee's wings are basically translucent. So this gives you a really neat effect as having that little white shuck out the back like that. And it looks like the wings are moving, right? Oh no, don't worry, mate. I got lots. If you can get them for yourself, though, that's all good. Or if you know someone local, it's hard to send feathers up here. But I do appreciate the offer for sure. So for this one here, you're going to tie it in a little tighter so it lifts up. And you're going to want it to be just a little bit back from the butt. So like the white's going to hang off. And that'll change depending on what your mallard feather looks like. So we're going to tie that in. I'm just going to hold it here. And we're going to do a soft wrap around the quill. The most important part of this whole process is your thread is ending in the same spot it began on the shank, on the same size. You can't have it sideways. And then put your bobbin towards you all in one motion and it will crush it down. And once it's crushed down, 2 to 3 wraps to hold it in. This did spin a bit on me, so we'll see how it turned out. I cut one fiber off the top, that's fine. There we go. Yeah, that's not bad at all. That's exactly what we want it to look like. You want it to raise up like that. So on a normal wet fly, you wouldn't necessarily want that, but for this specific pattern, you want it to be lifted up like that. And you can do that just by the amount of tension that you're wrapping when your first couple wraps go on. The more tension you have, the more it's going to lift up. Yeah, we had a heck of a storm. I almost wanted to get the camera out and do like a live of it, but I was honestly worried about the forest fires and everything else that were going at the same time. Okay, so he's like pretty much smack on top there. He's a little bit on my side, but like just barely. But yeah, happy with that. That's exactly what I want it to look like. Really? Oh, that's not good. Wow, I haven't had that happen in a while. My bad. I shouldn't have taken the tension off of that. Let's see if we can fix that. Wow. Really should have done a half hitch on that, eh? Can't believe that came right off. Okay, hopefully I can get this back on there as good as I did in the first place. Hey Caleb, good to have you in, man. Sorry, just let me fight with this wing here. Alright. Good enough. It's not just good, it's good enough. Okay, now I'm gonna get a half hitch on that bottom there because I don't want to lose this tension again. I haven't done that with a quill wing in a good long while. But yeah, throwing a couple half hitches in will keep the tension on your thread and stop it from doing what it did. There we go. I can clean that up, trim it off. I'm gonna use a little bit of fire probably because I'm a little bit close to the eye there. And then we'll do the battle and throw this away. Or not throw it away, give it away. Throw it away. You know what I mean. Yeah, the traditional, like I have a bunch of plates and like numerous old books, but the one I'm tying from shows it that the black is ending kind of right where the butt is, and the white kind of matches up to the tail, which makes sense to me because a lot of flies from that time period in the 40s to 30s, that was kind of the style to tie them in. So I believe it. Oh no, dude, why are you being like this today? Okay, there. I think we got it. Need to get some glue on that before it's going to be a toot. And also when you're getting them in the fly shops, or like a lot of times they're made in, you know, Kenya, different parts of Africa, that kind of thing. Which is fine. I'm definitely not knocking my African tires because they tie gobs more than I ever will. But when they import materials, they'll be a lot smaller because they're normally yearlings, because they're, again, crafted for food. And they're going to use as much material as they can, you know, profit-wise. So you'll see things like smaller wings, a little bit less tailing material typically, like overall. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like they have to tie them at a price point, right? So, why am I not seeing my, there it is, sorry. Knocking stuff everywhere. Okay, I was gonna burn that, but I ended up just wrapping it with the thread, so we'll go with that, and I'm just gonna put the head cement on it. I do like to burn the end of my quill wings if I can, because it kind of seals them in there. They'll melt a bit, almost like plastic. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of head cement on here, and then we'll do a whip finish on it. That'll bind it down. There's my whip finish. There we go. There's one little thing of cat hair fluff, something right there. There we go. They work well, like in a lot of the books I have, especially the older ones, the older tires weren't really fond of this pattern, but it does work really well, and they always say that, like they're including it in their book because it works well, but they don't like it because it's not like it's not as, I don't know, traditional or whatever for it could be for a bumblebee, but it is a very traditional, and it works really well. I find it works really well for like along creeks and rivers and stuff where you'll have things like bumblebees doing their thing and then falling into the water. I've only caught like mostly brook trout with it. I've caught one or two lake trout, or not lake trout, but like regular rainbows in the lake. Thank you. Okay, so we're gonna let that sit, and while it's sitting, I'm not gonna bother with the spin and spiel yet until we get the thing done. So we'll do our little ramble. I just want to make sure Rob's still here because he initiated it. We got Superfly. Awesome. Gotta love it when karma kicks you back in the butt, right? I mean, poor bugger had to swim out for his boat, but still, probably suits him. Cool. Okay, so everyone, we're gonna do the battle royale for the giveaway. So all you got to do is make sure you've chatted in the chat and you have a avatar on the screen. As long as you have an avatar on the screen, yeah, brookies love it because anything with like a little red in it or bright colors, they'll just smash. So yeah, all you got to do is make sure you have your avatar on the screen, and we'll give it another 20 seconds or so here just to make sure anyone that's lurking can say hi. You just have to say anything you want in the screen, and then we'll do the giveaway. There, alright. So we'll just give another 10 seconds or so here. There we go. Yeah, that's all you gotta do is say hi. Don't feel like you need to do anything else. Okay, we got Caleb. Is there anyone else that wants to join? You only got a few seconds. Just say hi, and that's all you got to do. And you'll be in the draw, okay? Okay, here we go. Good luck, everyone. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. I gotta check out Vintage's horsehair stuff too. I've been meaning to do that. Okay, let's see what we got here. Well, everyone's pretty even. We're gonna have some health packs dropping. Oh, come on, Frog. Oh, no, Frog's down. Big Duck's down. The Bee's doing really good, but he's just hanging out up top. Oh, Landon's going good. Pacific might win again. We got Green River. Oh, Green River's gonna grab the health pack, maybe. I got it. Yeah, no kidding. You think you just like step on people? Eh? Oh, and he picked up. Wow, he did really good. You know, look at that. He did like full health. There we go. Green River got it. Okay, mate. So let's randomize. Yeah, everyone went poof. Okay, so the way it works, Green Rivers, is I'm going to yes. Sorry. So yeah, the way it works, Green River Trout Slayer, is we're gonna randomize your gifty now. So we're gonna go through all the gifties. There's about 70 gifties. Like I said, there's certain things on there that I know are gonna be wrapped up in the new tariff regulation stuff, and I don't have the updates on the app to send them to the states yet. So I'm gonna have to nix those. If one of those come up, we'll just do it again. But we're gonna bring it up. As long as it's a regular fishing item, we should be fine. The ones that are going to be kind of up in the air are going to be the bigger spoons and things like that that I need to send by parcel. So anyway, we're going to randomize it here. So whatever it stops on is what you win, mate. So there's 70 items. Like I said, there's a few I'm going to have to figure out a way to get it to you once the tariff stuff comes through, but hopefully that'll be in a week or so here. Hopefully they just sort everything out and it can go away. I'd much rather it just go away. So eventually it will stop on whatever your gifty is. It's just randomizing the images now. You got everything from swivels to hooks to leaders to leader loops to fly line to hooks. We got some Mustang, we got some Densons, we got some Eagle Claws. Most of the stuff I tried to find things that were local. Yeah, there's a few packages of Hoochies. No worries, man. You can also get this fly as part of the giveaway as well. You always get whatever fly I'm tying. There you go. Okay, so you got some number. You got Gifty number 7, which is a set of size 4 on 8-pound test Mustang snelled hooks. So good for bait fishing. You can also just strip the, you can just strip the line off if you want, and just use them as fly tying hooks. That's probably what I'd do. But there you go. You got a set of nice Mustang hooks. Congratulations, man. I'll put those aside for you. Congrats, man. Good to have you in. This one's going to be yours. I think he's dry enough. I'm going to do a little spin and spiel on him. Yeah, thank you. We're going to do up a couple more here because I'm going to need 5 for my box. I'm just going to let my dog go back in here before we start up. One sec, be right back. No worries, man. Congrats on your belt too, by the way. For everyone that doesn't know, Landon got his belt on his test, so he's got his black belt. Congrats, man. I really appreciate all the work that you put into that. It means a lot. You got a long way to go, though. You're just pretty much halfway there. Enjoy. Have a good practice, man. Okay, just gonna do a quick spin and spiel here, and then we'll get at another one. Yeah, that's a lot of work. I only got my purple belt. I never made it up to the end there. And in the vise today, we have a Ginty. This is an older pattern from about the 30s and 40s, which is an attractor pattern, basically designed to look like a bumblebee. It's a wonderful little thing. It's got some red shuck out the back for the tail with a little bit of teal on top of the red, and black and yellow chenille wrapped up in the body with a mallard flank wing. So this is the center of the mallard with the little white tuft on the top is the traditional pattern. You can also just use a regular mallard quill. If you don't have that section, that'll work just fine. And some furnace red and brown hackle in the front, just kind of sparsely for legs. Wonderful little thing. It's a traditional pattern that a lot of people talk down on, but it does work really well. Even if it isn't an exact representation of a bumblebee, it just works really well for brook trout. It helps to aggravate them with the bright colors, and you should definitely have a couple of these in your box for a searching pattern. Wonderful little thing. Add a couple to your box, eh? Thanks kindly. And we're back. Hey, later, Reno. Good to have you in, man. Okay, so I'm just going to write down before I forget what prize you got. I think it was number 7. Just give me 2 seconds here. Get that written down. So I'll need you to send me an email to flytyingwithnimby@gmail.com. The email is in the description of the channel, top of the page. And just send me an email with your mailing address, obviously, so I can send it out to you. And I'll send it out probably shortly. If I can get your email today, I'll send it out either today or tomorrow. No worries. Thanks, Rob. Later. Say hi to the wife for me. Hopefully she's having a better day. See you later, Superfly. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out for the giveaway. Appreciate that. There we are. Yeah, so the only gifties that are going to really be super affected by the tariffs are going to be the larger spoons and salmon hooks and that kind of thing. That I'm aware of anyway. We'll see how things go. I'm hoping they'll have all the information I need, slash the programs updated to send those out. But for now, that'll be his. Here's the one we did yesterday. So this is a different style of wrap. So if you want that like really nice barred, I get to stick with my finger here. If you want that nice yellow barring like this one has, yeah, anything over like 30 grams. So anything with those like the bigger Gibbs spoons and things like that, I'm gonna have to send them as a parcel, and then that's gonna have to go through all the custom stuff. So, but I'll figure it out. Anyway, that's the other wrap job. You can see you get the nice segmentation of yellow and black segments. So that's the first way that we were tying in the chenille. This one, the butt is a little on the black side for me, so I'm going to do one wrap. I was expecting it to be a little lighter, but for the next one we're going to do one wrap. Fish aren't going to care any at all. But yeah, two in there. One of them's going out to Green River. The letter mail's been a little slow on the way down there, so if I remember right, P&W took him like 2 weeks and a bit, I think, for it to get there. Oh, I'm not driving down there, mate. It's all good. Maybe one day though, that'd be fun. It's technically not that far for me, really, like 3-4 hour drive. It's just, it's a long drive right now. But yeah, we had a heck of a storm. I had to shut down I was planning on doing 2 live streams. I had to have them both wait. Where'd the thread go? There it is. We had like hundreds, if not thousands, of lightning strikes like all night. Okay. So you're probably about as far south as I am north, give or take. I really like that area. When I drove through it, I've driven through it a few times, but it reminds me a lot of BC, like a little bit to the north of me, like Clearwater area. There we go. Okay, so we'll tie the red in here for the tail. Yeah, I'll call that good. Yeah, like Seattle area, Washington, very similar like biome to BC for sure. Okay, transfer that down. We should be getting the first salmon coming through pretty quick here. Although with the lower water, it might be a later run too when that happens. Yeah, it's a little more poofy than I'd like it, but we'll go with that. Typically in years where we have lower water levels, the run will be a little slower to come up, just because it's a lot more fight. Yeah, no, if I'm ever in that area and I'm close by, then I would definitely hit you up, and K-Fish as well. He's not too far off you. There's 1 or 2 other people that are in your area too that aren't that far, to be honest. One day, that would be a cool thing to do. Hit up and go do some fishing. Okay, and I need my teal. Where did I put you? There you are. Okay, there we are. Beautiful feathers, to be honest. They really are. Same thing, roughly about a gap height. You can go a hair less on either one because you are doubling a tail up. And I'm just gonna cut all that rachis bit off. There we go. Sweet, man, I appreciate you being so quick on that. Makes it easier for me if I can get it out of the way. Not that it's a trouble, but I tend to forget things if I leave them too long. So I'd much rather it be in the mail and on its way to you than sitting on my desk trying to figure out who won what. So thank you for being so quick and punctual on that. I appreciate it. That, and I do live out in the bush, so there's only so many mail pickups. So if I can get it out today, we'll do a mail pickup on Friday, and that'll save you like 3 or 4 days of travel time. Okay, so hair on your guys' side, but I'm really not going to worry about it too much. I think it'll be okay when I wrap the when I wrap the body. It'll probably pull it over a little bit. There we go. I've been enjoying the giveaways, so hopefully you guys are as well. I like the little battle royals. I think they're a lot of fun. And I get to share my flies with you guys, which is even cooler. And I know I mentioned it before too, but all the postage, I've already have all the postage together, because me and my mom, before she passed away, used to collect stamps, and we had gobs and gobs of postage that wasn't used. Yeah, that's what I'm interested in. No worries. No, same with me. I've been just with the we're like right at the edge of fire season, so I don't want to get complacent. Like we're close to it not being an issue. I don't sell my flies, man, but if you ever did lose it, just let me know and I'd send you another one. Hey, good evening, Brian. Good to have you in. Here, let me mod you up, man. You've been in here a couple times now. 1 second. Yeah, the other day when I had to shut the lives down, there was definitely hundreds of lightning strikes in our area, if not thousands. Like, it was not the worst lightning I've ever seen, but there was a lot. It was pretty concerning. And it started 3 forest fires, like, all around us. Not very far either, like 20 minutes, kind of in a circle. They were really close, so it was kind of one of those things where it's like, yeah, I can't stream because I gotta be on my toes. Why does the message keep getting detracted? 1 second. YouTube, you're being weird today. Sorry, mate. I don't know why I knocked your message out. Okay, we only got a little bit left of this one, so I'm going to try a different approach on this one as well. I'm doing different approaches just more for kicks and giggles and to show you guys different methods of doing the same thing. So we're gonna tie in the black one again. I got enough here to do probably 2 more flies out of it. And this time we're just gonna do 1 wrap before we get the yellow in place. 2 was a bit much. That'll do. Yeah, sorry Thomas, I'm not sure why it knocked your comment out, but it did. That's such a pain in the butt. I'm sorry you gotta deal with that, man. That's like one of a lot of people's biggest worries when we go out in the bush to spend time in the bush. Thankfully, it's not like a big deal here so much because we don't have the smaller ticks. We got the larger ones. They carry yellow, Rocky Mountain yellow fever and spotted fever and a few other ones, but they don't carry the Lyme disease as much. It's still technically possible, just not. Ugh. 1 second, I'm gonna have to nip out a little more here. They don't carry it nearly as much, but it's still a concern. But yeah, I know you're already battling that, and to kind of take 1 step forward and a step back, that's a real kick in the butt. I'm really sorry about that, man. Okay, so we're gonna do 1 wrap black, and on this one, what we're gonna do, it's gonna be kind of hard for me to do sitting. Whoop! That's like kick my tripod. Okay, let's get that sorted back where it was. Okay, this is gonna be a bit hard for me to do sitting here because it's easier for my brain to do it if I'm sitting sideways looking at the hook. I'm basically gonna braid this. Stop twisting on my bobbin. Yeah, we do have a lot of ticks. We just have the Rocky Mountain ticks, which are quite a bit bigger than the dog ticks and stuff, that like the little ones that you get more in the States, especially the East Coast. Even in Ontario, they get different types of ticks than we do. Yeah, I've heard about that. The bee sting stuff is supposed to help really well. So what I'm doing is I'm just altering this, one and then the other, one and then the other as I go around. Yeah, it is. It's not as bad as Lyme disease because it's treatable, or more easily treatable, I should say. But it's still a concern. It's just one of those things that, like, you can't do a lot about. Ironically, I'm not going to get into the political aspect of things, but there is a big political aspect of Lyme disease, especially in Canada. Because for the longest time, it was like other diseases where they just simply said, we don't have it here. It stops at the border. And it's like, diseases don't care where we made a border, you know? So with a lot of things, the government's push back and basically make it really hard for anyone to get help with Lyme disease if they get it in Canada. It's not as bad as it used to be. Yeah, I know, same. I can't stand ticks. But I've had like literally hundreds of them on me on some hikes when I've gone out. It's creepy. There we go. So that's a little different technique. Basically what I'm doing, it was kind of hard to catch on camera, and you really do need to have a proper down view and I need to be sitting on the other side of the fly. I normally face the fly. Just like when you're braiding hair, it's easier to do it if you can see the strands going back and forth. But you're crossing the strands, and if you know how to braid hair, it's the same thing. It's just your center strand of hair is the shank of the hook. Yeah, I've had hundreds and hundreds. Yeah, true. And like if you get Lyme disease early enough, then there's a lot more options to treat it. But ironically, they had one of the world's largest Lyme disease research facilities here, which is now down where our, well, not my city, but the closest biggest city to me, down by their septic system where their water treatment plant and everything is now. It's all boarded up. It doesn't exist there anymore. But I used to know the gentleman that did most of the research there at the time, and he told me many hilarious stories where him and his wife, like, they eat, slept, and breathed ticks. It's like all they did. You know, he loved it. It was his research. So there you go. So that's a different way to do it. You can see you get the much nicer banding with that. It's also a lot stronger because in essence what you're doing is you're tying half hitch knots over and over with the word with the stuff, the chenille, or whatever you're using. You can use wool or whatever to do the same thing. But as you're doing it and as you're crossing them, you're basically making kind of a bunch of half hitches as you're going along. And that's what keeps a braid together. It's just a bunch of really loose knots. So it does make it a lot less likely for it to come undone. And it gives you this really nice segmented pattern, but it's different than the segmentation that you'd have on the first one here. I'm just going to see if I can lay it sideways so you guys can see it a little better. So this one is literally just one wrap, then a wrap of yellow, then a wrap of black, and you can see for this one how much it's obviously segmented because it's literally a wrap of one, then a wrap of the other. And then if you twist them together, you get the style back here, which depending on the way your twist lands, you'll get more yellow or more black normally on one side or the other. So on this side, you get more black, and on the other side, you get more yellow. But the twisting style works really good for some nymph patterns. This is the, I think the official name for it's like a box chain. Like there's an actual name for the wrap. I think it's called a box chain, where you cross them and you're basically doing a bunch of half hitches. You can add multiple colors too. You can get up to like 7 different colors. Yeah, we get lots of blue jays here. Honestly, I've never tied with them, but we have several blue jay families that live around our house, and you know there's feathers on the ground all the time. But I also own a parakeet, so I get lots of blue feathers from him, so I don't bother picking them up. I have some inside of a picture frame of a blue jay that what's his name now? Rob something. Famous Canadian painter, anyway. With a painting of a blue jay. We love our blue jays. They come back every year too. We get the family, the new ones come back, and they make different nests around the property. So that part's awesome. Okay, we'll get to the hackle now. I have to pull one out of this. This is it's an old cape, but it's such a neat color. Like the change in color from the it's a furnace color, obviously you can tell, but it's a really dark badger center to it, and just like the change from the light honey colored red to the black is like very striking. We had 2 hummingbird families that came back this year. I didn't see them the year before, so they might have went to a neighbor's area or something, but they seem to come back this year. The biggest thing with this cape is I gotta find one that's the right size, because a lot of these are quite a bit larger than what I'm needing. That'll work. Hummingbirds are so cool. Such a cool animal. We get the, is it ruby-throated or gem-throated ones up here quite often. We got hummingbird feeders up, but like honestly, I generally see them on our flowers more than I ever see them on the hummingbird feeders. Probably because we have so many flowers. But yeah, they're normally right out my window from where I'm tying, like just 10 feet from me. I'll see them come in, and they'll come in almost the same time every day too, which is kind of nice. And they'll sit there and feed off the flowers. But they're just such a cool animal. They look like they shouldn't be able to do what they're doing, you know? Okay, so we got the furnace. This one doesn't have as much black in the center as I would have liked, but again, this is just for legs, so it's fine. If you don't have a furnace, you can just use regular red or dark brown hackle, whatever you got's fine. It's not super specific on that case. And just so I don't have any problems like last time, I'm going to do half hitch on that. I also pulled back a little bit from the eye this time too, because I was crowding the eye a little bit on the first one. The mallard, those part of the wings, or those part of the feathers on the mallard, I think because they are more of like a showpiece, they don't crush the same. They're very dense. They don't compact like the flight wing quills do. Do right there. That should work. It's true. They're little. They're so small, and then like they'll chase the big blue jays out of the way. They're just like, dude, that guy weighs like 3,000 times more than you do. But yeah, they're ballsy little things. Beautiful birds, though. They just have a lot of personality. They're just a lot of fun to watch do their thing, you know? Yeah, hopefully Jared will get his horsehair stuff together at some point. No rush at all, man. I'm just excited because I really like old vintage things like horsehair leaders and all that stuff. It's just right up, that's my jam, right up my alley. I love that kind of thing. It's like that, that's probably enough. Go one more? Yeah, I'll go one more. Just that daydream of like, you know, walking out to a lake and going up to some pasture where there's a couple wild horses hanging out and snagging some mane hair off of them or tail hair and making yourself up a leader, and then, you know, catching a fish off of a completely handmade everything, you know. It's just such a cool concept. And it's really cool to see like the traditional ways that people used to do things back before we had things like nylon and monofilament and everything. So yeah, no, absolutely no rush. Like I said, I'm just excited for it, that's all. And I know I'm probably not the only one. It's just totally like my personal jam. I love traditional vintage stuff, whether it's materials or what have you. Like I got gobs, like I could easily just go to Michael's and just buy some, you know, yellow chenille, right? But I got, where'd they all go here? But I collect like old vintage chenille, like this one here. Gentleman passed away, but he's in Knutsford, which is about maybe an hour from me, and he ran a little fly shop there before he passed away. So this is probably, you know, 25 years old. I guess that makes it vintage. And then this one here, I didn't even know this fly shop existed, but it's in the town that's close to me down in Kamloops. And I had no idea it was even a thing, so this must predate my lifespan. So it's got to be at least 40 years old. And this one's in really good shape. Um, and this one's even older. I know this one's like quite a bit older. That one's probably 50 or 60 years old. Like I could easily just go and get some, modern materials, but I really just like it makes me feel good to tie with old materials like that, with vintage materials. They're typically not even good. I got a couple, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I could go to Michael's and buy like almost a lifetime supply of yellow and black chenille for like $14, right? But I do collect lots and lots of vintage materials. And I like sharing that with you guys too, right? Like that's one of the major reasons I'm here is to share all this stuff with you guys. And I think the flies, they don't necessarily look better. They just look different, you know? Marriott dry fly. I'll have to look that up. I'm pretty sure I have that in one of my books. Um, but in any case, like the vintage flies aren't necessarily better at all. In a lot of cases, they're worse. In a lot of different aspects, they're really bad. But it's just like a homage to that past that started this hobby, right? And an art form, and all those tires that got us to this point. They had to come up with these things. There wasn't like books or internet or anything back then. And it was trial and error, and it's just a little bit of an honoring of that trial and error process to come up with a fly like this. And hopefully people appreciate that because it tickles my fancy. That's what I like. But I also use gobs and gobs of like new synthetic materials too, so don't get me wrong. I like that kind of thing as well, but the two of them are kind of drastically different worlds. And in a lot of cases, the synthetics are more durable, they float better, they hold color better, like almost every aspect of the material is generally better. So it's not that the vintage stuff, especially when it's like 50 years old, they start to degrade a bit. So in a lot of cases, they only work for like a couple fish for me. But taking a material like this old chenille, I mean the guy that ran this shop, Freddie, this was his life for years, right? He eat, slept, and breath fly tying, right? And like he had this on his shelf in his store for who knows how long, in hopes that someone would buy it. He'd make a little money, but someone would buy it and tie some flies with it. Yeah, silk stuff is awesome too, and like all the gut hook heads and everything like that. Yeah, exactly. It's like stamp collecting or coin collecting or anything else like that, which I also do. Not a big surprise there, right? So there's a little damage on this one. I wonder if that's gonna be an issue or not. It's just that, like you can see, there's just a hair. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but there's a little damage right. I don't want to pick it out because it might make it worse. Right at the tie-in point too, so it's actually in a really bad spot. We're gonna cut it out and see if it'll work okay. Yeah, I think it's important, like that you, and I definitely don't tie with vintage stuff all the time. It makes me happy. I think it's important that we give that a little bit of a nod. Because it also helps you to appreciate the synthetic and the modern stuff all the more. Like I guarantee you, if these old guys had GSP thread and like, nylon, even nylon thread, if they had all these synthetic materials to play with, they would. Guarantee you they would. It's just like one of my other loves is like backpacking and camping, and I love using old backpacking equipment and old backpacking stoves and everything like that. And I guarantee you, like if Mallory or any of those, you know, first major mountain climbers had access to modern equipment, they would love it. They would use it. But it just has a totally different approach to it that just makes me happy. And that's the main reason that we're out doing these things, is to be happy. McGinty, yes. Okay, so I'm gonna tag that up like so. Actually, I gotta tie these back. I have that's another thing I like to collect, and I've been meaning to post them because I got a whole bunch collected up, is old fishing magazines, like you know, especially from like the 50s and 40s. There's so many good advertisements out there. Yeah, thanks, mate. Good to have you in, Run. I've been lurking on your streams there a bit. I just haven't been able to talk while I'm at work, but I have been hanging out. My one, I had to cut that one quill just like a hair shorter than the other one because of that damage, so it did end up just popping out. I probably should cut another quill for it, but it's close enough. I'll show you guys in a second. You can see that the inner one is just a hair shorter than the outer one, but I think once I tie it in and crush it down, it's going to be give or take the same. That's the other fun thing, is looking at like the pricing on stuff. I was looking at some stuff like even from the 80s that I bought when I was a kid. And it's like, wow, I can't believe I paid like $2 for that. It would be like 15 bucks now. Yeah, no, I like hanging out on your stream when you're just sitting there yabbering about whatever's going on in the world at the time. Oh, yeah, that felt good. There we go. Yeah, that got popped in there rather nice. Nice smack on top. Look at that. Good for you, buddy. Now let's go throw a half hitch in there before you disappear like the last time. Got one hackle fiber pulled forward, but let's see if I have to deal with that later or not. Okay. Really? And thankfully I don't have much problems. I mean, I got good mods for one, but don't have much problems with the crazies. Because all we do is we just add them to the mod group. But I know, we're open to the world, we're live, right? So you can get some interesting people coming and going. Come on, man. Just try not to grab those last couple hackle fibers. Well, sometimes it's better if they're clueless. There we go. Well, that one turned out nice. I like that head on that one. Took me a couple flies to get the right kind of layout for that. Sometimes it takes a couple. Nothing wrong with that. I like having like a big bulbous, kind of classic bulbous head on these, if I can get it. Okay, I'll do some half hitches. I'm just gonna throw like a little bit of glue on there first to pin that down. I'll put a little more after the half hitches. Yeah, happy with that one. Come on, buddy. I'd like to get him up on top there, but it just wasn't wanting to stick. There we go. Downside to putting that head cement on ahead of time, it does give you a much nicer, stronger tie, but then it tends to get on your tools. Not the end of the world at all, but that's a nice one. I like him. He's gonna get a spinning spiel because I like him. But yeah, I mean, I definitely tie my share of modern synthetic stuff too, and I really enjoy that as well. Just the tying with old vintage material. It's a bit of a challenge too because it isn't really good. A lot of times it's not very good. Thank you. Appreciate that. Most things, like most materials, will last years and years and years and almost centuries if you keep it properly, but everything has a point where it starts to degrade in quality. And that chenille has definitely hit that point where it's starting to degrade. It's still usable, but you can see here in some places where it's starting to come apart. And they just didn't have the same manufacturing techniques. Yeah. And it's hard to just find it in stores too. Hey Greg, good to have you in, mate. So there were a little bit of Sally Hansen's. I know I didn't do it on the other one, but I want a nice shiny head on there. Beauty. Yeah, I like him. He turned out good. Even with the wing being a little clipped at the top, it's fine. I mean, like traditionally when they were doing like a dry fly, they might have to tie in like 2, 3. Yeah, I like old a bunion bug. I don't know if I've heard about that one. I'll have to look that one up. Doesn't ring a bell. It sounds like something I'd like to do. Well, yeah, there we go. That's a McGinty. Okay, so we're going to do a spin and spiel here. Just going to give it a second to dry, and we'll get at her. And in the device today we have a McGinty. This is a wonderful attractor pattern that is designed to look like a bumblebee. A wonderful little thing. It's got a little red shuck out the back for the tail, a little bit of teal on top of the red, so it's a two-tone tail, and black and yellow chenille wrapped all the way up on the body. In this case we wove it as a woven body, and then some mallard flank, or sorry, not mallard flank, mallard center feather for the wing, at the top there with the little white shuck out the top and some red furnace hackle for the legs and the hackle up front. A nice little bulbous head ties it all off. Wonderful little pattern. It's excellent tractor pattern for brook trout and creek trout and rainbow trout. Pretty much anything that's going to attract for a Royal Coachman. It's just a similar pattern for an attractor wet fly. Wonderful little thing. Add a couple to your box, eh? Thanks kindly. There we go. Okay. I like tying hoppers. Like, they take some time to tie, but they're a lot of fun. I don't fish them nearly as much as I'd like to because, like, midsummer, I'm normally busy with other things, but hopper patterns are a lot of fun. Anything top water is just fun to fish, especially if you can get fish to nail it. Cork and horsehair, hey? Oh man, I haven't seen a river run through it in like a minute. Here, hold tight. I got that. I was checking all my VHS tapes because I just watched it not too long ago, and Die Hard with a Vengeance is in its spot, so I don't know where I put it down. That's probably with my other stuff. That was an excellent movie, though. Excellent movie. Yeah, Royal Coachman, dry, wet, doesn't matter. It's just one of my favorite patterns all around. 100%, for sure. Okay, so that one's all dried up. Sorry, guys, I was going to show you the... I got a couple different copies of that. I got the VHS copy. I got the... some limited edition copy of it and a DVD copy. He used to actually have it on Laserdisc back when that was the thing. Yeah, you totally should. Excellent movie. Well worth it. I'm sure you can probably find a copy online. I know, dating myself a bit there. I had Terminator 2 on Laserdisc, Backdraft, White Man Can't Jump. What are the ones that I have on Laserdisc? Thought it was such a cool format. Bit annoying having to get up in the middle of a movie and like flip your disc over, but you know, it wasn't much more annoying than having to put another VHS tape in for like Lord of the Rings or something. Really? Oh. Yeah, all mine, well, except for my original copy, all mine came from thrift stores. Every once in a while, I'll see a copy in there. But I mean, it won a lot of awards. Yeah, those are all just awesome, like late 90s movies. Had Top Gun 2. What are the other ones I have on? Oh, The Abyss. That was another good one. That was really good on Laserdisc, actually. They had a whole bunch of extra feature stuff on Laserdisc that they didn't transfer over on the DVD. Okay, so we're just going to use the rest of this guy. The top here is kind of, you can see it's broken off, so I'm not going to use that. We'll go back down here and get some new stuff. Isn't like the best feather either. Yeah. Insert disc too, or insert install disc. No worries, man. Thanks for hanging out. It's been awesome. And congrats on winning the giveaway, man. It'll be out to you either later today or tomorrow. On its way anyway. It's gonna take a minute to get down there. I love my old videos. No. It was a cool format, but like it had its problems. And I ended up getting rid of all my stuff like that. Some days I wish I kept it, but other days I realized it was the right decision. But the main reason I got rid of it was disc rot. Like all the discs were starting to go through the disc rot problems, and they were like really prevalent with the laser discs. Yeah, that'll work. But I got an old vintage color tube TV that doesn't even have like it doesn't even have a cable connection on it. It just has the 2-wire antenna connection. That's it. And I watch all my old VHS tapes on that, and they just look different and better, in my opinion, on an old TV with an actual VCR. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about your area, but it's a bit early for us to say whether it's a thing or not yet. It's gonna be a minute. But we had a pretty good run last year, so I'm hoping we have a good run this year. I'm definitely gonna get you guys some videos when they do start coming. I got some of my favorite videos I've ever taken and some shorts from last year of the salmon spawning down there, so I'm hoping I can do that again. Just such an honor to be down there while they're doing their spawn. And we have some world-class spawning areas. It's nothing like when I was a kid, though, unfortunately. And everything always seems better when you were a kid, but in this case it honestly was. It was so thick when we were down there, you could literally almost walk across the river on their backs. Yeah, exactly. And I got it for free on the side of the road. I didn't even have to buy it. It still works like a champ. The thing's older than I am. There, that's nice tail. That one turned out. Oh, money. I don't know why I was having so much trouble getting it to lay proper on the other ones, but that one turned out real good. My camera's doing some weird stuff, so if I disappear, that's why. I apologize. It keeps shutting off and rebooting itself. It seems like it's staying together though, so we're just gonna keep rolling with it. I'm not sure why. It might be overheating. Yeah, we have a few rivers that they've closed, or sections anyway, not the full rivers, but certain sections, especially because they were just like between choke points and things, or you could really just kind of almost bucket the fish out of there. So some areas are closed like that and have been for years. Okay, let's get the black tied in. Sorry, just adjusting my stream stuff here. Not really sure what's going on with the camera, but we seem to be okay now. Wonder if it's overheating or something. Don't normally have that problem when I'm indoors. But yeah, if I do drop off stream, I'll get it going again here and just reset it and we'll be back up. So, no worries, guys. Oh, yeah? That's cool. In a lot of cases, it's like mouths of rivers or sections where there's like an oil pipeline that goes over top of the river. Because a lot of times they throw a lot of junk when they're building the pipeline into the river, and it causes a lot of obstructions and stuff where the fish can hide behind, but then it also becomes really easy to find out where they're hiding. Like the Trans Mountain pipeline. Try that again. Yeah, that's not... And they have to come to your house because you don't want to move the dang thing. I have an old, a vintage radio floor cabinet that's like that. That probably weighs 200 pounds or so. But it's got like a turntable, an 8-track, a radio, and just turntable, 8-track, 8 radio, and then a tape deck. Like all of those, but it's like the size of a coffee table. It's huge. But it's beautiful and it's in wonderful shape, and I still love listening to all my old radios or my old records and things like that. So the last thing I listened to, and it was the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack. Great soundtrack. Yeah, and I think I only paid like $50 for it, which was a steal for what it is. Actually, hold on, I'm gonna... I don't know if it's better to... I just wonder if it's better to just put my... Yeah, let's do that. I'm just gonna put my bobbin up in the bobbin cradle here, so it's just out of my way a bit. Might actually be in my way more, but we're gonna give it a try. So 2 half hitches, keep the tension in, and it can go hang out over here while we do this. My favorite TV I ever had was a it was a Sony Trinitron, and it was a... Yeah, it was a beast. Well, that's awesome. Good for your mom. I feel like I'm missing a turn here. I might have mucked that up. Like I said, it's easier for my brain to do this if I'm sitting on the other side. I should practice doing it this way as well. Close enough. I think I did get one turn doubled there, but it's okay. My first was an RCA, and I remember it had a red, green, and blue like little color label at the bottom, denoting that it was a color TV. Well, it was like the first family TV I remember that we had in color. And then the first TV I had in my room was a black and white TV. I had that in there for years, and that was a Sears. It was a kind of like off-white beigey color, and then almost like this color of black, like a gray-black trim. Stop tangling. Stop tangling. But that thing was a beast. I don't even remember what happened to that thing. I know it didn't die. At least I don't remember it dying. Must have got sidetracked in some point. But I really like Sony Trinitron tubes for the longest time. I had lots of different Trinitron. aperture grill type tubes. And especially when I went to being a graphic artist and I did all my 3D animation and that stuff, ViewSonic and Trinitrons were like my fave. Beautiful tube technology. They were a beast though. Yeah, yeah, like most of my TVs were like 19 was huge. I paid like a stupid amount for a 19-inch monitor. Yeah, a lot of people did that with the cabinet TVs and just turned them into yeah, I definitely like this side turned out your guys' side turned out good, which is the important part, but on my side you can see I missed I did an extra wrap of yellow instead of a wrap of I need to get better at it. It's been a minute since I've woven chenille. And like I said, if I'm not filming, I'll sit facing the fly and then it's like super easy because it's just like braiding hair. But when I'm sitting on one side, it's like trying to get my brain to do the things is not the easiest. There we go. I am kind of making it a bit more complicated than it needs to be. We could easily just wrap them side by side and be done with it. Okay, let's find another nice small one in here. I'd like to get a small one that has the furnace on it, though. Oh, there's one. Are you broken? Maybe? Nope. Are you? Oh, your friend's broken. Alright, there we go. Sorry, talking to my cape. There we go. And these old, like, farm-style capes that are just like farm hens or farm roosters, they're perfect for, like, these old vintage patterns and stuff. Because they didn't have long genetic hackle back then, so a lot of these patterns not only tie better with old material, but they give you something you can use your cheaper hackle on. So yeah, that'll do. I'm just gonna pull a little bit more out of that one. But yeah, I love watching my old movies and stuff on that old TV. Not only is the aperture different, right, because it's a 4x3. Very true. Yeah, and like that's probably the way most people would tie it in. I'm just a glutton for punishment. But it's fun to like have these different tools you can take out of your toolbox, and like I said, there's certain nymph patterns where doing that just makes it look so good. I was on like a real nymph kick last night just thinking about nymph patterns, so can't wait to get back to nymph patterns. They're generally more of a fall after I finish doing like we'll have to get into some salmon and steelhead because that's the thing coming up here. I might have to drop these attractor patterns and just jump right to salmon and steelhead. But it's just like with quill wings. Like you don't even need to do quill wings for anything. You could easily do a hair wing. You could do, many different other styles of wings, and it'll turn out just fine. But was he British by chance? There's an older guy that does British stuff, and he does a lot of um, woven body mayflies. I wish I could remember his name. I have his channel subbed, obviously, but he does like some better quality. I don't know if he has a film crew that works with him or not, but there's definitely someone else filming him because he has like movement shots and stuff that you can't get while you're sitting at a table. if it's the one I'm thinking of. And he does, yeah, he does excellent flies that are just very realistic. And I love my realistic flies. I need to do more of those as well. Okay, might not be the one I'm thinking of, but and there are lots of tires out there. If he had good video production, it was probably him though, because there's not too many people that go that far with fly tying production stuff unless you got like an actual shop or crew to help you. I wish I could remember his name, because honestly he's super skilled and I was really enjoying his stuff. Hey, K-Fish dropped some jewels. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Sorry, man. My chat bot doesn't notify me of the jewels, unfortunately. I gotta actually look up. Thanks, man. Say hi to Dad for me. Yeah, I caught one of your shorts earlier today. You're out casting and you had the, I guess it was the bobber or whatever. I don't know if it was the hook or the bobbin. It was like a chartreuse green color right in front of the camera, and then you were casting it out. I thought that was an awesome little shot. That creek or river just looked like money. It was nice. So you can see we're getting like a good half a dozen out of there, but that's about all you're going to get. I might get maybe one more out of these feathers before they're gone. Ooh, maybe less because I got less out of this one. But I could always take one from this side as well. Yeah, whatever creek or river you were on there, that looked like money. That was just a beautiful shot. It might have even been an old short that popped up for me, because sometimes that'll happen where you actually filmed it like a while ago. Either case, it was enjoyable. Thank you. Yeah, just lining up these quills. A second to fight with it, and I'll be right with you guys. There we go. There's the wing. Okay. I thought it was a newer one, but I just couldn't tell. But yeah, it was just, I enjoyed it. It was just like a beautiful shot, great angle. I liked having the hook like right up there. You could, but honestly, you'd be better off. Like if you had to make do, I just use like, if you really want to get that white tip, just use a white feather like this, and then a black Sharpie to darken the other part up. It'd be easier to go black than to try and put white on something, because most of the time the white fades or bleeds or flakes off or whatever. So you're generally better to go white and dye it black. But honestly, if I'm fishing these just for myself, I don't do this. I'll just grab like a regular old, like I'll just use the middle section out of here, or like just a regular goose. Oh, I've seen his stuff. Yeah. No, he's good. He's just a good dude too. I've definitely seen some of his stuff. If I remember, like the last time I seen him, he had he's got like a little website where he can sell stuff. If it's the one I'm thinking of, and then he had like some actual Mattarelli whip finishers for sale, like a couple on there that were a bit worn out. But I mean, who cares? It's an original Mattarelli, so. Oh, my quill kind of broke. I love this shirt. Wife got it for me. Dang. You can see I cut through. I don't know if I'm going to be able to save that. Let's try, though. I'm just going to back it up a little bit here, and we'll try again. Cut right through the quill. Really? Yeah, no, he seems like that type. And he does a lot of this stuff just like I was talking about earlier, just for the love of vintage materials, right? Like obviously he makes a little bit of cash from it, but like I think he enjoys just having it in his hands before he sends it off just as much as I do. Okay, well, that saved it. It's a little on the short side, but I mean, it'll work. Just gonna be super careful. Actually, I'm gonna throw a half inch on that before I cut that. But I was looking, he had like different, like specialty feathers for doing salmon flies as well when I was looking. So like kind of some rare parrot and stuff like that that would be used for doing liners and things. Yeah, he's a cool guy. And I'm like it means a lot to me that he goes through all that effort, because there isn't a lot of people that are keeping the vintage stuff going, you know. You know, like in a few generations, it might just be in the books and on the internet, and that's it. Unfortunately, so the more he can get supplies out to people that are actually tying those things, the longer that hobby will stay around for other people. Yeah, good for you, man. And you get good quality filming as well. There's one hackle fiber that is just like driving me bonkers right here. Come here. Come here. There. You know I am, but the problem, especially right now, with all the tariff stuff, is getting it here legally. And unfortunately, I can't take chances on that kind of thing, because if I get a knock on my record, right, then I can't export or import things, and that would just not be worth it. But there's lots of people like me that are in your country, state that you could send it to, I am sure. As much as I'd love that kind of thing. It's a little bit like thrifting, though, like, to be honest with you. It's a lot like thrifting. If you like thrifting, I love thrifting. But if you like thrifting, it's like if someone else finds that cool thrifting thing, it's, you know, a lot of it. Yeah, no worries, man. So I'd love to, but it's getting it here legally in a lot of cases just isn't worth the trouble. Oh, well, I did get that half inch. Did it snap in a good spot? No, it did not. Okay, well, just gonna get some extra head cement then. Boop. But yeah, like a big part for me anyway is finding this stuff, and then also like I love history too. So like doing the research and finding out like where this shop was, what the guy's story was, how many years he's been tying, whatever I can do. Like that's a big part of it too, right? So like a lot of times I'll find supplies and like unfortunately it's from generally when someone passes away. Um, in an estate sale or something like that. But for me, it's like that material. I have to think that that guy was a lot like I am, and a lot like my father was, and a lot like my father-in-law was. That we collected this material, over the course of a lifetime. Yeah, it's all good, man. But yeah, my overarching point on that is that the majority of people that collected this kind of thing at some point in their life, the reason they collected it was to see it get turned into something, right? Like it doesn't, like having a package of this and having it in premium shape, even though it's 40 years old, doesn't do anyone any good, right? But I would like to think that the guy that originally packaged this would be thrilled that I'm turning it into flies now, 40 years later. At least that's my thought process. So if someone passes away and I get their supplies through auction or whatever the case may be, a lot of times it's second or third hand. I'd like to think that that part of them that did all that years of searching and cataloging and everything else, like, is still kept alive, and the art kept going, and that's what they'd like, right? Because like dollar value on that stuff is meh, it's really not. It's only worth what people are willing to pay. Yeah, I like to feel like a little bit of everyone's tying soul is in those materials that they've collected over their lifetime, and then I get to take that and put it into a fly, and that means a lot to me, and hopefully it means something to them. One day maybe I'll get to ask them and have that conversation, but most of the time they're passed away. Okay, so we'll do a spin and spiel here. Don't mean to get all poo-poo on you guys or anything, but just is the nature of the beast. Think people get older and their stuff, can't take it with you. But yeah, K-Fish, I think Jared would be awesome for any vintage stuff. Yeah. I've been meaning to do more videos on my actual vintage lures and rods, and because I got a huge collection from when my father-in-law passed away, because he loved collecting that kind of stuff. And I have some really neat really neat stuff. Thanks, man. Yeah, like, it's honest, it's from my heart. Like, it does mean, it's a weird thing, right? Like, it's, these people have passed on, whatever, they can't affect it anymore, but through me tying these things and showing other people how to tie it, and the differences between the old materials and the new stuff, a little bit of them gets passed on to someone else, and I think that's important, if only a little bit. Yeah, if you can get that stuff to Jared, that would be awesome. But I got a lot of my father-in-law's old vintage tackle stuff that I'd love to do some videos on. It doesn't like completely fall in my channel's line, but it's close enough. But some of like the things I have, that some of the stuff he had I've never seen before. Like, I didn't even know this stuff existed. He's got a couple rods that are completely made out of one piece of stainless steel, and like they come apart at the handle. But like the rest of the rod is like one solid piece of angular stainless steel, and then like the guides and everything are all like one piece, and it fishes like amazing. Like I took it out and tried it casting, and it's just, why was this not a thing? Like why didn't this continue? Because you know, if you're saltwater fishing or whatever, I mean, I know modern materials don't rust or anything, but I mean, yeah, yeah. And I got lots, like he's got gobs and gobs of old vintage bait casting reels and fly reels and things like that too. So I really need to dig into all that stuff, and I like using it, but I mean, I'd like to do little videos on looking up the history of each model and cleaning them up and reconditioning them, maybe like re-greasing the bearings and gears and things like that. Yeah, I think that's the company, True Steel. Yeah, they actually are. Yeah, True Timber. Sorry, True Timber, because it was the same company that made um, shovels and pitchforks and axes and things like that for the railroad and mining and stuff. That made these rods, and that's why it was kind of like a really interesting. Um, yeah, I should do a video on that because it's just such a cool concept. Oh yeah, let's do a spin and spiel on this guy before I throw him in there. Be right back. And the vise today we have a Ginty. This is a wonderful little attractor fly that's designed to look like a bumblebee. It has a red shuck tail out the back with a little bit of teal on top, so a two-tone tail. It has some black and yellow chenille wrapped up across the body with a wing of mallard wing with a little white tip on the top, so it's the center section of the mallard wing, and some red and brown, basically a furnace or a badger hackle for the legs up front, and a little bulbous black head. Wonderful little fly. You should definitely have a couple of these in the box for the attractor pattern, especially for brook trout, creek trout, and anything that's going to be along the edge of the bank where the bees are going to be falling in occasionally. Just a wonderful little thing. Should definitely have a couple of these in your box, eh? Thanks kindly. There we go. Yeah, I think True Timber was the brand name on at least one of the ones I have there, but they're such a cool concept. It's just like, it's one solid piece of metal with no ferrules or anything. And because of it being one solid piece of steel, like they are a little bit on the heavy side, I will say, but the action that you get, like the feel that you get through that rod, like right to your hand, is crazy. Like, I don't know why it wasn't a thing longer than it was a thing for. It seems like such a cool idea. They are a bit of a pain in the butt to transport because, of course, they're one solid piece. But other than that, I got some really nice old vintage. I bet. Yeah, it's worse than like the really old vintage fiberglass ones are the same way. I've seen a few like explode when people got like salmon and stuff on them. They literally just get like a whole bunch of tension built up and then just poof. There we go. Boop. So I'm gonna have to send one of those off to Green River, and we'll get another, so yeah, 2 more tied. Yeah, that's very true. But yeah, just like you see these interesting concepts, and I've seen some interesting ways that like reel seats work. Like I had one rod that had this auto reel seat where it doesn't have the ferrules that you screw on normally. It was like a piece of spring steel, and you just slide your reel in, and then it had a piece of spring steel that you push with your thumb, and it like literally locked like a lock on to hold the reel on. and it was like it's not going anywhere. Like and it was so quick. Like you just push it and unlock it, and it's like, why wasn't this a thing? This looks like this is like such a great idea. They came up with so many cool things, like especially in the 40s and 50s, like after the war. And a lot of really good reels were made actually during the war too, especially like German reels. I got lots of old salmon reels, like old German reels and British reels. And lures are fun too. Yeah, it's true. I've seen that before. But yeah, it's just things like that where it's like you got to just ask yourself, like, why wasn't this a thing? Why did this not catch on? It could be maybe that the company like held onto the patent too long, and then they went out of business for one reason or another. But there are so many cool old ideas in vintage fishing stuff that you just don't see anymore.
Well, I saddled up my shoe, headed out at dawn.
Oh, and thanks for the comments on my shirt, whoever was saying that. I didn't actually look up at the time, so I'm not sure who it was. But yeah, my wife got me this shirt. I quite love it. Because I like mice and rats. And chickens.
When the road keeps rolling on.
I'm hoping YouTube will put out some new music here too. Yeah. It's almost like the downside of patents too, is that they can be the death of an idea just as much as they can save it. I need to get me another one of these bobbins. I really like this bobbin. It's just like, it's oddly satisfying to tie with this like flat center. It's just perfectly balanced, as you can tell. And it's got a slight, probably hard to see on the camera, but it could just be that, it's been tied for so many years. It has a very slight cupping to the center. So like your finger just sits in it. It's just so nice. It's just really comfortable. And like, since I can put pressure here with this, and my other fingers are free to adjust the tension down here on the spool I'm tying, so I can put a lot of tension up here with my fingers for the bobbin part, and I can adjust the tension down here with my pinky or the other fingers. I don't know, it's just ergonomic. It just works really well. Such a simple design too. Sometimes simple's better. I did find the brand name that actually made that. What brand was it now? It's a Japanese company, actually. So it wasn't like super cheap, but it wasn't super expensive. Starts with a T. It's not T. But I did find out what company made that. So we'll go with Gap Height. It's quite old, so I have no idea if they even make that one anymore. But this specific bobbin was my mentor's bobbin, and I got it when he passed away, so I would never get rid of it. It has a lot more sentimental value to me than anything. But it is just an absolute joy to tie with. And it's really light. I like light bobbins myself. Some of the newer style bobbins, it's like, I mean, if you're doing saltwater or you're doing ocean stuff or like musky stuff where you're going to be putting a lot of torque on something, then you'd want to have a stronger bobbin. There we go. You want something stronger, but I mean, some of the more modern bobbins that you see coming out now, it's like you could pull a truck out of the ditch with something like that. Like they're just so overly engineered. Not necessarily a bad thing at all. It's just not my thing. But yeah, if I was doing like a lot of musky stuff or like boss poppers, it's hard to find. I got lots of old vintage bobbins, but it's hard to find one that isn't worn out. Like a lot of times when you find them, do I have? Trying to think if I have it in my. I got lots of vintage bobbins, but none that I would like tie with on a regular. I have some interesting like old homemade bobbins where people made their own bobbins. And those are interesting. I wouldn't actually tie with them, but they're cool to have. Yeah, exactly, pretty much. Yeah, they're not just in the pipe, like, because they're all steel, right? And they're like mild steel. Like this is one of my older ones that I just used for. I use it just for lead wire now because it doesn't matter because it's all grooved out and it's breaks thread really bad. But it works fine for lead wire, so that's what it does now. This is just a Sunrise, like this is from the early 90s, so it's not like super old, but Indian bobbin. But it's still like, 30 years old or whatever. But I got some like really old vintage stuff that's just made out of steel that someone literally welded together at home. And they're really cool looking. I don't know if I'd ever tie with them, but it's just interesting to see someone's thought process just to get the job done, Like get her done and just make it work. Okay, so this time we're gonna try that idea and just use the rotary like we were talking about. I can't remember exactly who said that in the chat, but we're gonna use the rotary. I think it was Run. And we're just going to tie it in or rotary it this time. Quick, simple, effective. Nothing wrong with it. And I should have just enough black there, I think, to finish that off. Oh, hey, Pierre, good to have you in, mate. Always a pleasure. Just making sure I got these tied in fairly well, and then we'll get a half hitch. Yeah, do you mind if we take a quick break here and I'll go grab one to show you? Do you want to see one, Jared? I can go grab some of my weird old ones. Okay, cool. I'm just gonna throw a video of me tying here so you guys got something to watch while I'm gone. And I'll be a minute. I just gotta go to the other room and grab it, and I'll be right back. Thanks for waiting. All I didn't find the one I was looking for. I did find one. This one's not homemade, but it is an old one. I know that because I was talking to the gentleman that originally had it, and he pounded it out and made it. He did a good job on it. But this is meant for holding like a full-size spool. So you can see, I don't know if I can do this without having this fall apart, but fly tying spool, full-size sewing spool, and you know, it's an old wooden one, but he pounded these out, so he just has a piece of steel and then a rod, and then he just soldered it on there and made his tube, and then he wallowed out the tube a bit with a thing, and he made his own. This was his vise, and it was just a Model A, Thompson Model A. You can see how much he's tied because the jaws are worn out. My daughter actually ties on this one occasionally, still, so I got lots of Model A's, though I probably got like 20 or 30 of them. But this is an old Model A. It's got the nice vulcanized knobs on it, with some of them don't, and they have the metal knobs. But in any case, he made his own bobbin cradle that he welded together on this one too. And he took the metal and he shaved it down, and then drilled a hole through the top there, and then he drilled a hole through his base of his vise, so the two of them go together. Yep. Yeah. So the two of them go together like this, and then he did a little hook here to hold it, and then to hold it in place, he has a little tiny cotter pin that he made here that slides in the hole in the top here. So now that holds it all together. So then he's got his bobbin cradle on this side, and it's solid now. And it holds it just, I know it's hard for me to get in frame here, but it holds it just perfectly. So you can have your bobbin off to one side while you're tying. And I thought that was like really cool. Yeah, and I got to talk to him before he passed away, and I got a lot of his gear, but he made some really interesting stuff. And he made another bobbin. I don't have it. I thought it was with my daughter's tying stuff. But he also made several bobbins out of old like soup cans. And they're so cool because they still got the writing on them and like the embossing from the old soup cans. Anyway, thanks for letting me show that for you guys. It's probably not everyone's cup of tea, but I always find it like really entertaining when someone goes through all that effort to make something like that just to solve a problem, you know. Okay, so we're gonna hold these together like that. Yeah, he's an ingenious guy, and like I got a lot of his weird tools, and some of the tools he made, it's like I have no idea what this is for. But he obviously had a problem he was solving. So we're gonna wrap this up in black first and try and get that over the yellow. There we go. Oh, like obliterating my yellow. Good enough. Probably could have done a nicer wrap job, but that'll do. But yeah, that's the quickest, dirtiest, easiest way to do it, is just rotary vise. Put them beside each other, wrap. You end up with a forward spiral for the most part, depending on how you tie it in. Yeah, I mean, it's good enough, right? It gets the job done. It gives you those nice spirals. You don't have to think about it. A lot of the methods I'm doing here, I'm like honestly making stuff way harder than it really needs to be. And there's no right or wrong way to do this. If you get yellow and black chenille wrapped up along your hook, you've done your due diligence and your job is done. My tail completely curled though. I must have put too much tension. Let's see if I can spin it back a little bit. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, that's better. There's no right or wrong way to do it. There's just different ways. And if that difference makes it easier for you to tie for some reason, or easier to fish, or you can turn out more of them because you're going to lose them, and it's served its purpose. Okay, let's get this guy going. Getting close to the end of these quills though. Yeah, that's gonna be close. This might be the last one. I can always use this backside here as well. It really doesn't make that much of a difference. Yeah, it might be a little short there. Let's see. Yeah. Well, let's cut it out and see how we're sitting. I can probably just tie in a shorter wing. I have other quills, but I need to dig a couple out. This one's got a much bigger chunk on the top, so we'll be okay there. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah, it all depends on where they're going and what they're doing. It's like if I'm going to town, the grocery shop, I'm not going to be wearing my finest. You know? But if you're having a night out with the missus, you put your good stuff on. Well, kind of already broke on me, but we're gonna give it a go. In worst case scenario, I'll just have to tie it in a second time or get a new feather. It's pretty close. It's kind of like right on the button of what I can get away with. But that's okay. All good. Okay, we need another feather. Yeah, I wish I remembered it off the top of my head where I stuck his old bobbins, because they were really interesting. And it's like I was looking at him, I'm like, I know that from somewhere. I'm like, oh, that's a Campbell's soup can. Like, dude, that's cool. Okay, I'm gonna take both of you. Ugh. Got one for the next fly. This one's got a really nice dark furnace center to it. We're gonna use that one for now. Its brother's gonna go hang out over there. Some capes you'll get very consistent furnace gaps, and other ones you won't. In this case, I don't. But it's all good. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, September is like honestly one of my favorite times of year to fish. That and like early spring, like when the ice first comes off. Have less bugs to deal with. The salmon are done doing their thing. The world's just slowing down a bit. You know, it's just a different time. And it's like you know it's gonna end soon too, right? There's that part of you that knows that ice is coming, and it just makes each one of those casts and each one of those hookups mean all the more because you know it's coming to an end again. Not forever, but you know, until spring. And for whatever reason, it just seems to make that all the more enjoyable. It could just be me too, but the fish seem to fight better in the fall, if that's your thing. They seem to have a little more oomph to them, probably because they've been feeding all summer. Oh yeah, mate. But that's also the magic of yeah, that's the other thing too. Is a lot of times in summer the water's a little too hot, or well, in a lot of cases the water's too hot, and then it starts cooling off and they get happy again. Just trying to bury in. I got a lump of chenille here on this side. Just trying to tease it down here. There we go. That's better. But yeah, that's the nice magic of YouTube is I can connect with people. There's a gentleman I was talking to last week from Mexico, and he mostly just speaks Spanish, but it's cool that we can share this hobby and just our love for the outdoors and everything right across the world. And I've made lots of really good friends from people in South Africa and different places in Australia, especially. Aussies are awesome. I love my Aussies. New Zealand, same thing. And it's cool that we can all connect on here. If we can't get out to the river together, at least we got this, you know? So this is going to be a really short little wing, but it'll do. Oh yeah, yep, I like his stuff. He's actually got really good instructional stuff, to be honest. He's really good at pointing out things. Okay, I don't know if it cut there or what happened. Huh. I don't know if that worked or not. It did cut through quite a few fibers there, but it looked like it also held them down at the same time. And I got lots of stuff sticking forward that I was hoping not to. Hey, no worries. Good to have you in, Landon. Really? Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, I like anyone like him that's like honestly passionate about the hobby and everything, you know. You can tell just by how he talks that he like legitimately just enjoys it. Yeah, I need to do that. Not so much cleaning, just organizing. I got so many like half done, you know, little bits of whatever kicking around that I've saving to finish a fly off or whatever. I need to have a day where I just sit down with you guys and just use up all my leftover stuff, to be honest. Just tie some monstrosities and give them out. Oh, cool. Did you try Brian's new, what was it? I want to try some of his thread, and I want to try his prepared organza. Looks good too. I wouldn't mind trying his gator back for my nymphs too. I think that would go really well with some of my nymph and stonefly patterns, to be honest. One little fiber going up front there. We're going to deal with that after. I only got one fly that I was like super happy with the way the head turned out. I want it tight to the head and I want it bulbous, but okay. Yeah, that's all good stuff. I have some K-pop dubbing I haven't played with, to be honest. We have a plant that grows up here that is almost exactly the same of K-pop daubing, so I was thinking of doing some tying with the local stuff. It's a type of vine, and it's not like native to here, and it kills the trees. But when fall comes, like around now, it puts out this puffy white stuff that I thought was just be fabulous for tying with. I've never tried it, to be honest, but it's very cotton-like, and I'm sure it would work. Very, very much like K-pop. But turns out, I had to look it up, but it's actually an invasive species. Yeah, these are just an attractor wet fly. Yeah. You can tie it, like you could do a much bushier... I made a little short... Oop, I actually pulled a chunk out there by accident. Sorry, buddy. Oh, you still look pretty. We won't tell anyone. The wing's a little short on this one, but that was the last bit I had for the feathers. It was just the last little bit of the tip there. Yeah, I love pheasant tails, man. I tie pheasant tails any day. Absolutely love tying pheasant tails. So simple. They're just, getting this nice little rhythm. They're just fun to tie. They work. You tie them in all different sizes. And like a really nice piece of pheasant tail. This is a Dyna King Barracuda. Thank you. Yeah, it's a good vice. I mean, I would never pay what they ask for it online. Yeah. Generally, if I'm fishing these, it's excuse me, basically in the riffles, right? Like, so it's going to be like along the creek or the mouth opening to my lake, or the creeks between the lakes, where these kind of things will be. They'll collect the honeydew from the aphids and stuff underneath the tree branches, and a lot of times they'll fall in. There you go. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with having a colored vise if it makes you happy. Like, this is a good vise, don't get me wrong. It's like I could stand on the thing, it's not going to go anywhere. But would I pay, $1,000 for one? Probably not. I picked up mine on Facebook Marketplace for 40 bucks. That's more my speed. But it was hard to turn down $1,000 vise for $40. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go buy that. Okay, there we go. Bloop. So the next one we do of this is going to be with just the regular part of the mallard, and I'll keep all these guys together. So there's the 5 of them, and we're just going to use up some of this lower. Yeah, no, they're just like, it's just one of those classics. Yeah, I got some if I was tying a lot of like salmon and saltwater stuff, this would be an awesome vise. Most of the hooks I tied don't really fit in the jaws. You can see when I close it up here, hopefully you can see it. You can see those 2 holes. So I can get the lighting just right. Those 2 holes there. If I'm tying with a bigger hook like a size 8, I wonder if I can get this one. It might be too small. Yeah, it's too small. But you get the idea. If you can index it in those holes, like, it's not going anywhere. It's just, it's so stable if you can get it in those. But you need like some bigger size hooks to get in those. So like 90% of the time when I'm tying with it, I'm just using the tip, like the midge tip, for it to hold. But any hooks that will fit into those indents, like, they're dead stable. They're not going anywhere. And you can also use a lot less tension. I have to use quite a bit more tension to use the tip on this to hold it in. And the other nice thing is that with less tension on there, you can adjust it to different size hooks fairly quickly, because as long as they fit in those, I guess, carve-outs or divots or whatever you want to call them, they'll lock in just so nice. And it'll also index it, so when you're doing your rotary, that's the one thing I will say about this vise, is that the rotary function, once you have it dialed in for the right hook, you can adjust there's an adjustment knob here so you can slide it, is dead on, so that it always spins nice and centered. So for that part, for this vise, deadly. Like, they have that dialed in absolutely perfect. But the downsides of this vise is it's freaking huge. I mean, it's, like I said, I could literally stand on this thing and it would hold my weight up. Like, it's a beast. It probably weighs like, I don't know, at least 10 pounds. It's heavy. But when it's on your table, it doesn't really matter. But I wouldn't want to travel with it. It's also large. Like, it is like the length of my forearm long. Maybe a bit longer than my forearm. So, like, you know, it's a big vise. Much bigger than all my other vices. Like, it's probably twice, yeah, it's got to be twice as long as this one. 1, 2, yeah, it's actually, it's 3 times longer than this vise is. Which I didn't realize actually until I just said that. Yeah, I normally used to tie like at eye level, but just with the camera angles and my lighting, in order to light the fly properly, because I gotta have lights below me and above me and all that stuff. In order to light the fly correctly, I have to have it a bit lower, so I have it at like chest height now, which I've gotten used to tying at. I used to tie at eye level. I can go a bit higher with this vise, but it seems to be happy about that spot. And it also comes with a pedestal variety instead of the C-clamp. This one's the C-clamp. But I mean, I could switch it over to a pedestal. Yeah, I wouldn't say like there's too many downsides to this vise, and it's definitely well made. But is it $1,000 well made? It's like, I don't know. I can go through like 6 Renzettis for the same price. The pedestals work okay. I don't have anything against pedestals. If I was mobile-ish and had to put everything away every time, that would be a better option. This guy just literally lives on my desk, like he's not going anywhere. He's been in the same spot for months. And it's also, that's another good thing for me, is because I'm tying in the same spot. So I got to have my tripods and my lights all set up. You know, so they're roughly in the same spot every time, so I can get the right focal length to the camera, so everything's in focus. Is it in focus? Focused enough. And that helps a lot too, having it in the same spot. If I was tying on a pedestal, you know, it would move as I'm tying it, even like a little bit can make a big difference on whether it stays in focus. So let's grab some new feathers here. This one's going to be the last one of these I'm going to tie, and then I'll get I need to do one Royal Coachman.
Hands already warm, working for a better day, trying to keep me warm.
Yeah, if I was doing something mobile, if I was doing mobile stuff, I would probably either make or find a pedestal that would work with like this one or one of my other vices, or I'd just bring one of my Model A regular vices, to be honest. I don't use my rotary feature as often as I probably should, because I grew up without it. You know, I grew up tying with just a standard vice, and you don't, like 99% of flies you can tie without the rotary. Don't get me wrong, it's handy, and it's nice to have, definitely for doing certain things, but you can definitely get by without it. Just do one wrap underneath here to keep that up. And we'll get our teal tied in. There's our teal. Getting to the end of the teal too. And it's all personal preference, right? Like, it doesn't matter what vice you're tying with, it's whatever you're comfortable with. And if I was doing like a lot of production tying, I'd probably switch to like a standard Regal vice. So I really like the way that it's always under tension and that you don't have to have it clamped down, so you can get stuff in and out really quickly. But then there we go. Yeah, personal preference. I mean, there is some benefits to looking down on the fly, like depending on what if I was tying like the same kind of fly every time, I would try and work the rotary in more, because you're gonna get a faster tie. So if I was production tying, then yeah, I'd be doing things a little differently. But obviously I'm not production tying. I mean, we've been going for like 2 hours and I've done 5 flies, so you know, we're hanging out and chatting and, you know, talking about other stuff. I'm not trying to fill a box up, you know. Out of tea, so I'm switching to Freshka for now. Need to make some more tea. I think I have just enough. I'm hoping I have just enough black and yellow here to tie this in and get this done. I'm pretty sure I do. Yeah, a lot of people like that about the Renzettis. They're a very, like, it's a good quality starter vice. And it's like when I'm out fishing too, you know, I'll see those. Oh, did you slip? Yeah, you did slip. Yeah. Thought I had them both in there at the same time, but nope. But a lot of times when I'm out fishing too, I'll see that fly in my box that drove me nuts. I'll be like, oh, it's you. You're the one with the hackle that was sticking out, or whatever the issue was, you know. So he goes on when I'm in an area where there's lots of trees or something. And I'm probably going to lose it, or whatever. But yeah, that happens. It's like, oh, it's you. Sacrifice you to the tree gods. Don't always remember every fly while I'm fishing it, but there's definitely ones where it's like, oh, yeah, I know exactly which fly you are. I'm going to use a hackle plier here, just because these are getting short and I want to get the whole thing in, or as much of the whole thing as I can. Oh, and you dropped out. Don't drop out. Come on now. There we go. Good enough. The black kind of just, when I rotary it, I don't know if I'm holding it on the wrong angle. It seems to kind of just overpower the yellow. Or it's a little fluffier than the yellow is, either way. That's okay. This one's going in my box, so I'll get, like we were just talking about. For me, I'd say probably like a 10 is the most, like, it's just a comfortable size for me to tie on, and it works with a lot of different pattern ranges. And like depending on what lake I'm going to, it'll work with a lot of different fish sizes too. That's the thing about BC and going, you know, trout fishing, right? Like, I'll need a beefy enough hook to get something in the like 3 to 5 pound range. 12s used to be my favorite, and then I went up to a 10 because I just, when I go river fishing, like a 12 or 14 is too small. Yeah, that's a good fishing buddy. Dude, that just spun right around. What are you doing, man? You just falling right apart? You are. What the heck? What's that all about? What did I do wrong? Holy man, that's not cool. Well, let's fix that up. I wasn't terribly happy with that wrap anyway, so I guess this lets me finish that. Oh, there's gobs of thread holding you down. I don't know why you decided to go all cattywampus. Okay, I'm gonna hand wrap this one just because we've already cut these. I'll see if I can get that yellow to show through a little better. I felt it slipping when I was wrapping it. It's like, what's going on with you? Yeah, if I was only like creek fishing, 12 would be awesome. I can do a lot with a 12 on a lake. Like I said, that used to be my go-to size. Why are you being such a poo? But I found that I get better results with 10. Oh, buddy. Why are you being such a battle? My fingers need a break. Yeah, I just find like with the slightly larger hook gap, it works better for certain things around here. Like even when you're dealing with like getting weeds in it, like bulrushes and stuff. That it'll just be a little bit. I know. I try to save my material. I'm a stingy tire. Yeah, Brian would have went at it with the blowtorch by now, and probably a lot more swearing. Alright, well, he's got a much bigger black butt, but like I said, this one's going in my box, so I don't much care. Just wanted to use up that last bit of chenille instead of tossing it. If I can make it work and it's gonna catch me a fish, then it's gonna get wrapped on a hook. Even if it's slightly too long or short or whatever. Just like that last wing was a little bit off. There we go. Now we got a nice, I mean, it's serviceable. It's passable. You might not get a spin and spiel, mister, but you're part way there. You are gonna get a half itch though, because I don't know what happened last time. That was quite odd to have it just completely spin out on me like that. Really? Maybe I'm just getting tired. I like blaming my materials more than I like blaming myself though, so. No, they don't. I mean, if I'm gonna do a giveaway or whatever, I'm gonna try and make it as close as I can to good. It's not just good, it's good enough. There we go. Okay, back in the game. Okay, let's get that hackle done in. I mean, if I was gonna be... Yep. If I was gonna be production tying again, I would probably go right to like 5 or 6 different patterns that I could tie over and over again. It's hard to production tie the kind of stuff I enjoy tying on lives, because I like to do like older patterns and stuff that don't necessarily... Yeah, exactly. And I can be a lot more picky with myself than I really need to be. It's very enjoyable just hanging out with you. Ooh. Why are you twisting like that, man? I can only blame my materials for so long until it's obviously I'm doing something wrong. Birds are popping around on my deck outside. Okay, well, it doesn't want to spin that way, so I'm gonna go this way. Yeah. Dave, this rock is pissing me off. Should I go one more? I kind of feel like I should, but... Alright, I'll go. I can probably get one more in there. I probably should be tying with 6-aught anyway. Davey's a joy to watch. He's just such a nice guy. He really is. If I ever get a chance to shake that man's hand. Would love to meet him one day. Would even be honored if he popped in my live at some point. I don't even know if he watches lives or not. But that would be an honor. Yeah, I'm using 8-aught, and I probably should be using 6-aught because it's less likely to cut the quill's fibers. The benefit is you get less buildup, but it's a lot sharper on the quill. So there's that. There we go. Alright, and we're just going to grab the black part of the quill and just not have the white in there, which is perfectly fine. But we're still going to get that nice red there. Yeah, I wish I had more free time to watch lives, but I'll pop in a lot of people's lives while I'm working because I do work from home. But it's hard to, I can't chat and everything because I gotta actually work. But thankfully I can pop into lives and lurk, which I like doing. Alright, so there's our quill that we're going to cut out of that one. Still got like a little bit of white on the end there, but like, you know, it's not ideal. Okay, and on this one... Yeah, I like to hang out in everyone's lives. There you go. Yeah, I don't work for myself, but I do work from home. So kind of 6 one half doesn't either. Best of both worlds, I suppose. Oof, almost lost it. Got it. Dropped it there. But yeah, I fix computers and printers and all sorts of electronic devices. So, if you ever have problems, let me know. I can probably help you with whatever it is. Yeah, like I was saying to Ewaz, if you were gonna try and fudge this pattern, and you'd be better off fudging the dark than the light. So we're just gonna do a black wing on this, but it's got that really nice. I don't know if I can get the camera light to catch it, but it's got that nice iridescent blue. I can see it a little bit there. Oh, okay, cool. I've done that a couple times with old laptop batteries. A lot of times when a laptop battery's dead, it's not completely dead. And there's still like enough cells in there that are perfectly fine that you can swap them to something else. And dead laptop batteries are easy to come by. Go to any electronics recycling place, they probably got, you know, a whole pallet of them. And inside there's generally just those same, you know, Samsung, can't remember the, whatever it is, 1012 or 1021 or whatever, lithium lipo cells that everything runs on. Yeah, you can replace like, that actually looks pretty dang good. That tied in real nice. Not exactly classic, but you know, I'll take it. Looks good. We're getting close though. I'm at the 3,000, what was that? Almost 3,700 watch hours today, so only 300 watch hours to go. Unfortunately, a lot of my older videos were doing really well this time of year, so I'm going to lose several hundred watch hours in the next week or so here, but we're making our way back to the 4,000. I've been hovering around 4,000 watch hours for the monetization so many times. I've been right up to like, I was at 3,995, and then I took a bit of a break, and I was like, oh, okay, well, you know, I'm so close, it won't be a problem. I'll get that last like 20 watch hours next week or whatever. And then one of my videos aged out, and it was like a 350 watch hour video that aged out, and it was just like poof. It's like, oh man. YouTube is an uphill treadmill, that's for sure. But we're back up there again. So I'm gonna try and get this watch hours buttoned in before my birthday in November. Here would be nice, make me happy. Get that under my belt. Yeah, there is a live playlist of all the lives. So if anyone wants to help with the watch hour thing and you want to burn some time watching some of the older lives or whatnot, there's lots of back catalog there. I think I'm over 700 videos now. But either way, I'll make it there one way or the other. Really nice and close now. Less than 300 watch hours to go. I got lots of long forms I need to start doing up as well. That one's pretty. Yeah, I'm gonna try and get 1,000 videos before the end of the year. I'm not sure if I'll quite make it, but it'll be close. Oh, NiCad. Ah, yeah. I used to like NiCad batteries, to be honest. They have a lot of benefits. No, that's all good, man. It's all good. But yeah, like NiCads, they have some benefits, especially in Canada, where it gets cold. They work a lot better in the cold than the lithium ions do. And on something like a drill, like when I was locksmithing, I'd use drills to, you know, get into cars and do different things and drill like deadbolts and stuff like that. And the lithiums had a lot more longevity to them, but when it's like minus 35 out, they were useless. Like they would die really quickly when it's like below minus 20. They need the warmth. So I'd have to keep them in my jacket or keep them in the truck and take them out and switch them out. But like I kept an old NiCad drill around just for those like really cold days, because it would still you know, wouldn't be perfect, but it would still work. When it was really cold, where the lithiums just gave out. The nice thing about NiCads is the same thing. You can find NiCad cells inexpensively, and NiCad chargers are easy to come by, even if you're on a slightly different form factor. But yeah, I like to redo my old battery cases as well. Beats throwing out, because a lot of times it's just one cell that dies and the rest of them are fine. And then you gotta replace the whole battery because one out of like 6 or 8 cells is dead. But, you know, is what it is. He's pretty. I quite like him, even though he was a fight and a half to get done. I like him. Yeah, that's true. And chargers are expensive. Or lithium chargers are expensive because they got all the monitoring gear in them. I mean, compared to an iCAD charger, they're fairly dense. Yeah, I'm really actually happy. I'm glad I didn't torch this one. It was kind of frustrating me there for a minute, to be honest, but that actually turned out real well. Just gonna let that set for a second here, and then I'll add a little bit of Sally Hansen's. Yeah, I'm really happy with the size of the head on that. The wing turned out really good looking. After like rewrapping the body looks good. So, don't give up, I guess would be the moral of the story. Yeah, I normally do that. I'll take it and clean the tip off with some like acetone or something, and then I'll cut the tip. I just found with this specific one, it's like, well, if I can do this so you can see it better. It's like nail shaped. It's like nail shaped, like it's like a spade shape on the end, but like when I turn it sideways, it's only like 1 or 2. It's really thin. So as long as I go in on that angle, I'm good. But yeah, I hear you. I normally take them and just cut it down to just a couple little bristles. But generally, if I'm using the head cement, or if I'm using the Sally Hansen's, it's to make a bulbous kind of black shiny head. And this is where I get into all the tight spots with, is this with the pinhead. And that's the other thing. I haven't seen anyone else do this. And like, I don't own this. It's not like copywritten Nimby stuff or anything, but I haven't seen anyone else do it. Yeah, I can't use. I'd love to use UV stuff, but I can't because I'm allergic to it. It gives me horrible blisters and skin rashes and stuff, unfortunately. But you can see this is just a regular pin. Yeah, so this is like just a regular pin. You can see where you put the thread through, and what that does is it works like a quill, like a quill pen, where you have the hole in the quill and then the slit going down, and the hole actually acts as an inkwell and holds the ink. And in this case, it does the same thing. It just holds the head cement in there, and so you can just put like you can that way you can gauge it from everything from like 1/4 of a drop to 1/2 a drop, and you can make it way more accurate, more than you can with, like, I've tried squeeze bottles, I've tried, you know, like just using like a bodkin and just dipping it in, and then you can get like 1/2 or 1/4 of a drop, you know, using a bodkin, but then it gets all like dirty and nasty and everything sticks to it, and I don't know. But this is the only solution I've found that allows me to completely control the amount of head cement I'm putting on, and it's always clean, because it's always in fresh head cement. Like it's never gets dried up and gooby. It's always perfectly clean every time. And I'll go through, you know, bottles of it, and yeah, never have a problem. It just always works. So, you know, there you go. Looks like we got a subscriber, Ilu. How true is that? Yeah. Yeah, you only need to make it so so accurate, right? And thanks for subscribing, Ilu. Appreciate that, mate. Just wait for it to set a little bit here before we do spin and spiel. Yeah, like you really don't need head cement. I like the way it looks, and I like the slight more durability, but like you said, you're gonna sacrifice it to the tree gods and the rock gods long before it'll fall apart, really. In like 90% of cases. That is a beautiful colored wing, though. You can see the blue, like especially right there. You can really see that iridescent blue. It's just that's a really beautiful wing. That's like smack on, like right down the middle too. I'm happy with that one. That turned out better than I thought it was going to be honest. I might even send that one to Rivers because it turned out really good. I think that's probably the best looking one out of the batch. Okay, so we're going to do a spin and spiel here just because I like him, and I think he deserves a little spin and spiel. And in the vise today we have a Ginty. This is a wonderful little attractor pattern, an older vintage style, coming back from about the 30s or 40s, and it's basically designed to imitate a bumblebee. But it is just an attractor pattern, so it doesn't imitate anything specifically, but having the yellow and black chenille wrapped up along the middle, it definitely has the bumblebee characteristics. And it's fished as such. So normally you'd fish this for brook trout or cutthroat or something in a creek or stream or along the edge of a lake where you'd have overhanging trees or bulrushes or what have you, where the terrestrials would land and rest and then fall into the water. Wonderful little thing. You should definitely have a couple of these in your box. It has a nice shock red tail coming out the back with some teal on top of that, some furnace colored red hackle up front, and a mallard wing for the wing, which just has a beautiful iridescent blue color to it. Wonderful little thing. Should definitely have a couple of these in your box, eh? Thanks kindly. Blue. Stumbled on my tongue a bit there, but we got her done. I think I'm getting tired. Yeah, this is like if I was, like I said, if I was tying it for my box, I'd either use this part of the feather, that nice blue, or just, you know, any goose or chicken or anything else. Oh, it's always cool when you get like an ant migration like that and they're flying and landing and they're all over in the water and they're just like everywhere. And yeah, that's fun times. That's like one of my favorite, well, I guess it's not really hatch, it's more of a migration, but one of my favorite hatches, for lack of a better way to put it. I might send that one to, I think I might send that one to Rivers, even though I told him I'll send him the other one. Because I really like the way that one looked. Rivers was the first one there on this side, but there's the other ones. Yeah, I just like him. I think he's beautiful. So I think we'll put him on the side here, and I'll send that one to Rivers. Because he's pretty. But yeah, normally I just use, honestly, goose feathers, chicken feathers for my rooster, whatever. You know, it's a terrestrial attractor fly, so it doesn't really matter all that much. The traditional ones are that little white top here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna be wrapping it up here. We've been going for 3.5 hours now, and my fingers are obviously getting tired. My voice is getting tired. My everything's getting tired, so I'm gonna have a break. I do have today off though, so I'm not sure what the next. I might jump right into salmon flies. I really like tying these attractor flies, but salmon fishing's coming, and I'm kind of getting itchy to tie some steelhead and salmon streamer stuff. So we might completely switch it up here and just jump right into salmon flies because they're beautiful and I love tying them. So we might do that. Either way, thanks for hanging out with me. Jared, it's been an honor and a pleasure to have you with me in the stream. Enjoy your outing with the boys at the school soccer game. Landon, happy you got your activities in there, mate, and you joined us again. Ewaz, good to have you in, man, as always. I need to get your mice tied up. Something for coho. Yeah, I can definitely look up something for coho. I'm gonna just do like, it's been a while since I've done some like good, like heavy, proper streamers and some like classic salmon flies, and I just love tying those. So I've just been following through the book here, but I will switch it up and we'll get some good streamers going. I feel in the mood for it, so I gotta dig out my streamer stuff. But anyway, thanks for hanging out with me all. It's been a pleasure. Hey, Flame Fox, that's a cool, cool name, man. Let's check out your channel. Sorry, mate. Sorry, Flame Fox. We're just wrapping up here, man. But always good to have another fur fox in the chat. See you later, Dan.